Hey guys!
Guess what?
What?
We're gonna take you to the best kept secret.
Oh, that's right!
This side of Stephenville.
That's right.
You
That's
don't
right.
even know yet.
Remember we were talking about Jessie kicking her Starbucks habit? Well, this is part of the key because we have found the absolute best place for coffee this side
Ever.
of Stephenville.
Over here.
I would
Ever.
say ever because
I would say pretty much ever.
I don't like coffee and I like this place, so it says a lot.
It's really
Hey,
good. We'll
we're
show
gonna
you.
take you to meet Lance. He is in he's in a general store in Lingleville, and the cool thing is, it's not like your grandpa's general store. It's a pretty neat place.
It's really cool. I love it.
So hey, come along with us, all right?
My name's Lance Battenfield. I own the Lingleville Country Store. We kind of grew up in this area, went to high school here in Lingleville, and then we kind of bounced around the area. My first kind of real job was right in the college, right out of high school, was at Starbucks. And so they kind of introduced me first to, like, you know, flavor notes and just, you know, all the little nuances of coffee and what just straight black coffee could be. And then I started their Coffee Master program, which was basically just like digging deep into the origins of the coffees and how they're processed and getting deeper back along the supply chain. I really loved it. I mean, I loved the whole story, from the cherry to the processing to the drying, and you know, I just loved it. Where Starbucks really lost me though was they got into roasting. They told you about Starbucks roast, and then it was like, boop, and they kind of dropped you, you know? It was like, well, like, and then what, you know? I started roasting on the side while I was at Starbucks. And I got a roaster from a guy I used out of Houston, an old Ambex, and started roasting coffee for people and kind of just experiment. I went through like probably a full bag of Colombia before I started getting kind of my roast profile straight, you know. And so 150 pounds of coffee later, you know. And I just really fell in love with the process. And while I was roasting, a company that I was roasting for took me to the origin country of their coffee. And it was actually a coffee out of Southwest China. Starbucks actually carries it just usually at their reserve stores. I got to walk through the coffee fields and help them with the processing. I mean, you know, helped turn the coffee on the patio, and I mean, with the wash process and everything, it was really cool. I left Starbucks for a few years. I just kind of got fed up with the whole corporation just pecking order. Once I got into management, I was like, no, this isn't for me. You know, I'm in love with the coffee. I'm not in love with, you know, making money off of the coffee. A couple years later, I guess this store here, I got the opportunity to take over it, and it didn't have coffee at the time. It was more just like a little country store, convenience store, didn't have much to offer. It was kind of just barely maybe making money. And they were like, you know, this is not working out. Like, I think we're gonna end up shutting it down, or if somebody wants to buy it, then we'll sell it. And I said, well, hey, why don't you sell it to me? And so we got a pretty good deal. You know, we basically, it's, I don't know, any time I think that you know, you're first starting a business, I think it's important to get that sweet deal. You know, like, I think a lot of people just get in over their heads by just taking a lot of money in a loan, or you know, just, I don't know, they just get in over their heads and then it doesn't work out perfect. You know, you've got to plan for all those screw ups, and you know, you got to be ready to not make money for 6 months. If you're not prepared to do that, then you're probably not going to make it 6 months. We really just came across that that perfect deal, and basically said, okay, I tell you what, you take it over for 6 months, and if you can make money, then I'll sell it to you for, a pre-negotiated price. And if you can't, then well, you got to lose. You're getting paid still. So I said, okay, we'll do it. And so they brought me on, paid me a salary. I completely took over everything, and here we are now. We've probably tripled sales. We put in an espresso bar, and not just like an espresso bar like you'd see around this area, but like a serious espresso bar, because if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, awesome. We bring in the best coffee, the best of the best. We train the best baristas. We do it right, and it's so great. People walk in and they're like, they hear that we do coffee and they're like, just give me a cup of coffee, and then when we start to grind the beans and heat the water to 200, right on the money, and then we do a pour over for them, they're like, what are you doing, Well, this is crazy. And then they're like taking pictures and like posting it on Facebook. And then when they get their coffee, they realize, I can taste this and it doesn't taste terrible. This is good coffee, What led me to be a small business owner is I wanted to do something here that nobody else was doing, or that nobody really in this area could bring. I've always wanted to do it. I love the interaction with people. I love offering something to someone. I guess I just really love serving people. This gave me an opportunity to do that without all the red tape. I actually left the whole retail customer service business for like 2.5 years and worked with cattle and drove trucks and did maintenance. I was kind of like, it's a company that does a little bit of everything. I was kind of like their guy who could cover anybody. But I always missed coffee. I always missed, retail. And I always loved the Lingleville store. It just killed me to see it going down the tube. It was not in a good spot. It's always been a dream to do a little coffee shop and all that, but it just frustrated me to no end that all these little cute coffee shops were popping up everywhere and nobody knew anything about coffee. They want to do a coffee shop to make money and be cute, but they don't know anything about coffee. You give them a cup of, Sumatra Batak, and they don't know what that even means, for one thing, and they can't tell you about it besides that, it tastes kind of like coffee, and so I just wanted to make sure that whatever we did it well. And if you're committed to doing something well, if you're committed to doing something perfect and not fudging on the quality, then you'll be successful. And there's always those times that pop up where you're kind of looking at the books and you're like, well, I can make another 25 cents off of this, or I could buy this lower quality product for half price, or and it's all tempting. People will pay for a premium product because they realize that it's better. They know it's better. And that kind of stuff sells itself. You don't have to try, you just tell them about it and share your passion with them. And when they try it, they're like, man, you're right. Like, this is good. I'm coming back. My favorite part of this job is probably the people. I really like talking to people when they come in. I really like, interacting with people. And then a close second, probably almost tied with it, is being able to make awesome coffee. I think around here, I get really pumped up about coffee. like unusually. Like I get excited about it. Like if I get a cup of coffee that's just killer, like this one that I'm drinking right now. Like when I took the first sip of it, I was like, oh my gosh! Like I was telling everybody about it. Me and Chris were picking out flavor notes. You know, and it was. I don't know. Like I get excited about that, and I love to share that with people. Even those guys that came in here earlier, you know, looking for a cup of coffee. You know, he said, like, I like Kenya. And we've got a killer Kenya right now. Like, it's awesome. But I started telling him about the Sumatra. And, like, he was like, man, I want to try it, you know? And so he got the Sumatra instead of the Kenya because I tasted it and I was excited, man. Like, I wanted to share that with him. People trust somebody who's that passionate about a single product, you know. Call it passionate, call it obsessed, call it, you know, whatever, but I like it. What's the buzz about you? You know what I mean? And right now, like, we're successful because we're profiting and people love it. People are just loving it. I think talking about our legacy, you know, and looking forward to our future is a cool thing specifically here because this store has got such a history. You know, 1884 was a long time ago, and it hasn't shut down since. I mean, it's been in business for like 130 something years now, or maybe 140 years, something like that. But anyway, you know, looking at the legacy that this store has already left, you know, I get people in almost every single day who come in here and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing with this place? Like, this is amazing. I remember when I came in here when I was 8 years old with my grandpa, and we used to come in here and he would get me, you know, a soda, or he would get me, you know, whatever. And this was a hardware store. People would come in and say, oh, I remember when this was a grocery store. Or I remember when the post office was across the street, you know, and we'd go there and then we'd come over here and, you know, and so the history that this store has with the community already is a really cool deal. I think in the years to come, this is really going to just multiply. And that's another big thing is I feel like this is something that, you know, God has really put in me to do, and He's blessed it. And it's not only meant, you know, just for me, but it's meant to multiply. And so that's why we're looking out to do another store, is because that's part of, you know, the vision that He's given us is, you know, multiply this. This is going to be multiplied. Faith plays everything. I mean, it's whether you're on the fence about starting a business, or whether you're in a business trying to make a very important decision, or you've got to take money out of this and put it over here, or buying equipment or whatever. I mean, every single move has to have the okay. Just make sure that, you know, you're in communion with God, you know. And in every decision you make, be in prayer about it. You know, pray specific. Don't just give this like general, like, pray that you bless me. You know, one thing that I started praying a long time ago, because I feel like God wanted me to pray it, was bless everything that I put my hands to. Everything that I touch, Lord, bless it. And I think He's really done that over the years. I'm not afraid to spend the extra money or take the extra time to do something well. If you come in and get a cup of coffee, like, you're gonna wait. You might wait 5 minutes for it, but it's gonna be the best cup of coffee that we can offer you. We go way out of our way to get good coffee, and it shows. one of the biggest reasons I would recommend being a coffee shop or a small business owner is because it's what you love to do. You can't do it just to make money. You can do anything to make money. And if you really want to do it just to make money, then go work for somebody, you know? Or, you know, don't be in coffee if you just want to make money. There's enough of those guys. I personally want people to experience what I experience when I have a cup of coffee. I want them to know the process, and I want them to know the flavor notes, and I want them to taste the difference. And I want to give them something that they're like, wow, like I got this in Lingleville, Texas. Okay, for all you great coffee drinkers out there, I want to know what you think about tea. Because this is something that I've really been looking into. If we were to carry the best of the best tea, how many of you guys would be interested? I'm talking hot tea, iced tea, whatever. And I don't know if we would do it by the cup as far as iced tea goes, or if we would do a big batch. But would you be interested in the best tea that this world has to offer, but would you be willing to wait for the best cup of iced sweet tea that you ever tasted?